afternoon, YouTube. It's Will from Little Development. This is my 266th. Let me check again. Yes, 266th weekly update. Wow, that's a pretty. What am I looking at? Oh, not bad. 266th weekly update. So, I'm going to roll, rock, and run through this one because I'm noticing a lot of my videos, I should say my weekly updates, have been a little bit long-winded, so I'll try to keep this one brief, maybe under 8 minutes, set a realistic goal. That's how you smash your goals, make them realistic. So I'll just roll right into it this week. Monday was press day. This was the last week of my sets of 8 life, basically. And I wanted to make sure I ended each one in a relatively comfortable fashion. I sort of wish I had gone just a little bit heavier on the pressing day, the overhead pressing day. But given that my form stayed pretty damn perfect and the barbell is still fighting me a little bit, I'm still fighting a little bit to keep that proper bracing and everything while using it. 8 for 120 with little stress. I'm more than happy with that. I'm more than content with that. Let's just put it that way. Rolling right into squats, I had a dream of hitting 225 and repping it perfectly again. My back stayed tight the whole time, but it wasn't because my arms didn't move. It stayed tight because I made sure it stayed tight. I only got out of rhythm on one rep, I think, where I noticed my actual bar path was a little bit off. But other than that, my depth was great. My tightness in my upper back stayed just how I wanted it to, you know, driving up with that part of my back, basically. My hips and back rising at the same time, which is exactly what I want from that movement. So I was very happy with my 8 at 225 on squats. You know, obviously the big part of it was pain-free. One of the things I do need to work on, and it's, you know, that's the part of this, is there's always something to work on. One of the big things I need to work on is a little bit more ankle flexibility, which I have been working on, but part of the reason for that is because I need to keep my stance relatively narrow, because going too deep while having too wide of a stance is really irritating my hip and back. So if I can manage to stay just a little more narrow, and I mean, we're talking a matter of 2 or 3 inches, but that matters. It keeps my back and hip a lot happier when I do that. But if I go more narrow, I end up having to point my toes out, which then irritates my hips again. So keeping the toes a little more pointed forward while keeping the ankles a little bit closer together seems to be doing wonders for my hip. And I'm still able to hit depth. It's just my ankle flexibility is not quite there to facilitate that particular motion that I'm chasing right now. So that being said, it's just something to slowly work on over time, and I am slowly working on it over time. Some days are better than others, let's just put it that way. And it may come a time where I start squatting like 3 days a week just to make sure I'm sort of reinforcing that sort of movement and sort of forcing myself to get that flexibility that I'm wanting. Wednesday off. Thursday I was shooting for something I wanted, which was yesterday, Thursday. I wanted to hit 250 for 9. And I had a 240 for 8 the week before, and I felt pretty good. Well, actually I felt like shit all day on Thursday. Just really sluggish and slow, and then going through the warm-ups, not just the warm-ups for the actual bench, but just my general warm-up for a press day. Felt sluggish, felt kind of slow, but I felt like, you know what, I'm going to make this happen. And I did a set of 235, I think, before my set of 250, and was able to get to rep 7 on just one breath, and then hit number 8, and it felt fine. You know, everything felt okay. Everything just kind of felt a little off. But I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for 250 for 9. Got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on rep 6, I felt a little pinch on the back of my right hamstring, and I was like, just ignore it, you know. And when I went down for number 7, it just totally locked up and cramped, My right hamstring did, and it just cramped right up. And right when it cramped, I went, oh God, right out of groove. And then I had to push, and I'm pushing, and now I'm out of groove, and that's fighting me more. So I need to push into the ground a little harder. And doing that is hurting my hamstring even more. So I end up straightening the leg out to try to mitigate the pain a little bit, but it was too late. You know, the damage was done. Let's just put it that way. So I had to stop at 7. I didn't put it in my 2 video just because I didn't feel like it, but I went for it again very shortly after, and the set was noticeably worse. Was only able to get to 6 on one breath. Went for 7 and it was rough. Went for 8. You know, basically needed a rescue, and then forced a rep at 9. So, you know, it didn't work out how I needed it to and how I wanted it to. I mean, you know, what can I do? Just the hamstring just, you know, cramped up. These things happen sometimes. I don't need all the keyboard warriors telling me all the ways to prevent it. I do everything anyway. Sometimes shit just happens. It really is just that simple. I take electrolytes before I go to the gym every single time before I go to the gym. Actually, except for today, I just forgot. But I did Thursday just to really make sure. And it's still, you know, shit happens. It just happens. Sometimes you got to live with it. But that being said, plan is basically to hit it again within the next few weeks, because now I'm doing 5s on everything, and based on the math on 1 rep max calculators, if I can hit 270 for 5, then I can hit 250 for 8. So if I hit 275 for 5, which I have actually done in the past, then in theory I should be able to hit 250 for 9. So that's what I'm aiming to do. So maybe give me a couple weeks on that based on what I was able to perform with last time. I'm going to probably start at 255 for my 5s, top sets, then go to 260, 265, 270, and then 275 will be my, 4th week? 5th week? I don't know. I'll push it. I'll see how it goes. You know, the bench progresses quickly. Uh-oh, I'm running out of time. So we'll see how it goes. That's the plan. And then because my hammy was still goofed up, and it's still goofed up really to this moment, it's still kind of wonky. It's just the damage is done. Deadlifts, I had to play it very, very safe, and just did a set of top set of 230, which is only 5 pounds up from last week. But that being said, they were fucking stellar. Perfect. It's the first time I've ever given myself a 9.5 out of 10 on them. The only reason I don't give myself a 10 out of 10 is because they weren't quite as fast as they probably could have been. And I don't just mean speed off the floor. Speed off the floor was fine. I'm okay with the speed there. I mean in between reps. It could have been faster, the overall set. But hey, it was under a minute this time, so I can live with it. Other than that, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it this week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. I think the lesson of the week is one that will always come up, and it has come up in the past, but that lesson is just because you do everything right does not mean things will go your way. I learned this back when I did the Russian squat routine, and it ended up essentially, it didn't injure me, but I ended up injured at the end of it, and I'm not going to blame it on that, but I am going to say there's certainly a correlation between the two. There is no correlation between the two. I got out of groove. I should have stopped when I had the chance, but I was doing everything right and still failed. And then honestly, yesterday was another reminder of that although I took my electrolytes like I should have, I warmed up just like I should have, the body felt, I did everything right, still didn't make it. These things happen. There's nothing wrong with going back to the drawing board, waiting a couple of weeks, and just getting it again. The important thing to remember is to always have good form in training. That is the number one thing. I don't, somebody actually asked me at the gym today, do you think it's okay to get lax on your form just to hit a PR? And I said, in the gym, no, that's stupid. Why would you bother? It's not worth it. Why would you, especially, and they were doing deadlifts, like, especially on deadlifts, why would you potentially put your body at risk for a fucking gym PR? Nobody gives a shit. You're not even filming it. Like, what do you fucking care? You know, and not for nothing, this particular person's deadlifts are kind of trashy looking anyway. I can say that now that mine don't look trashy. Even though I don't move a lot of weight, they look good. I can say that now. And, yeah, so it's like, why would you risk it? And there's nothing wrong with taking a couple extra weeks to make sure you do it right. So just do it right, And if you don't, then what's your excuse?